lady whose folly induced her to sit in a holly, whereupon by a thorn her dress being torn, she quickly became melancholy. One week. It was during the course of 1 week, several lobsters began to eat silent things, trying like they might to fly. Their love is a big round bubble upon a prickly leopard's head. This is all they seem to offer, those silent things. The music is an old cello sister, a used-up paint pot, a defiant knuckle with a hangover, absurdly begging to an unknown melody pounding day and night upon the earth. 2 weeks. It was after 2 weeks when the fire engine finally stopped with its siren. Soon afterwards, the white paper aeroplane rested its tired bones on a telephone wire, hunching and folding its shoulders. Things were much happier inside the cardboard garden, a tiny revolving window made from seaweed fire and a splash of toolmaker's glue. Today is a new spark. Three weeks. With the arrival of 3 weeks, Mr. and Mrs. Labyrinthitis having ringing in their ears, bang, 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 bang it goes. For quite some time now, large angular drums rest inside their top pocket, big green fans of persistence, always coming, always going, but alas, not on a regular basis. 4 weeks. 4 weeks is a beautiful, noisy shiver. Its ears are full of lobulated flowers, often assumed without truth. They are not stars. This is 5 weeks. Since the onset of 5 weeks, smart thoughts have amused and preserved a raw extinction. With the burning ears of aging glass jars, sophisticated words continue to ignore an infiltration of bugs and snakes growing rapidly beneath their alligator shoes. Newly darned bedclothes burn like oceans of wheat and fuss. They set sail like a misleading direction of a gaggle of horizontal geese hovering somewhere near the west or thereabouts. Whatever happened to that person next door, they wonder. 6 weeks. 6 weeks is a nest of silver ants, protean like sand and bumps and bulges. Its soft internal tongue moves like a shimmering lake, wind falling with little known noise, revolving like dust, and 7 giant moths, magnetic nylon wires for its feet. Its obnoxious family of tainted caterpillars snore and graze in a house with large splintered walls. 7 weeks. 7 weeks was born to a mattress with dead guts, a profound dusty library with ravenous habits, deliberately made to fit one size fits all. It was last seen leaving town upon a flogged horse minutes from an encore. Their quiet death was never recorded. 8 weeks. With the onset of 8 weeks, reversed furniture like a one-way mirror, sadly expired, then killed a somnolent dormouse, a trombone personality, and freak of nature that slowly fell from a tree. Our hearts gradually became mummified. 2,000 years in perfect limbo. We hold hands, whisper, and smile. 9 weeks. Before the start of 9 weeks, the egg-fumed breath was no rounder than lungs. Its blood-red tongue, a passive intellect, gradually suffocates in response to an indifference to bread. Its maniacal laughter bulges profusely beneath the floorboards, then continues to moan for 4 consecutive days, hence the smell of gas. 10 weeks. It was 10 weeks when the penguin sang to a crystal lake. They realized it wasn't true when their wide, round eyes began to weep. Only grasshoppers can deceive with their explicit baritone voices, turn in 365 degrees in a stranger's bed, cold sheets that casually caress the buttocks. Penguins, broken glasses, red without lenses, a pointing finger, a stuffed dog snarling, a smiling profile side on, a bookcase without a single book, several inches of dust from a forgotten archive, a ham sandwich with subtitles from an obscure Eastern European movie, a dying blue flower lying in the arms of a teardrop of a sleeping child, diagrams full of air, diaphragms full of air. As we fall from the bed, 5 shoes follow close behind with gentle descent. We begin to touch the edge of space and your heart skips a beat. We are no longer in the cool, clear sky. We slowly open our eyes and embrace each other, diaphragms full of air. Today you resemble the babushka woman in the Kennedy assassination film. You are wearing the same brown overcoat with a scarf upon your head. We are both unaware of our death. The house. The house at the top of the rock has been living an obscure life much of its life. It can't recall the last time it had a holiday or saw the rumbling of a decent black and white film at the cinema. The house is beginning to crumble as holes appeared in its roof, allowing the sky to come and go as it sees fit. The families sitting at the dinner table haven't moved in years. A terrible smell occupies the rooms. A postwoman knocks at the door. A package rests in their right hand in the shape of a skull. It needs to be signed for. And the light socket. How long have you been a light socket, says the plug. The light socket responds by waving its hopeless wings maniacally up and down like a pair of old shoes walking 10 paces. The light socket is handed a fish. What am I supposed to do with this? Screams the light socket. The plug suggests measuring the circumference of dragonflies, a play of something green. The light socket begins to laugh as birds fall from the sky, dying at its feet like piles of old books. Vibrating like ants. It started with the sound of squeaks, open wide mouths vibrating like ants, alive and unusual. Your arms and legs are the branches of a tree, short random movements up and down. We ride upon the back of white camels, flickering like spaniels upon magic carpets. The clock inside your mouth has stopped. We begin to smell and feel the sound of oceans flowering beside warm, toxic lakes of urine. We appear to be happy. Heading south. Why do you have eggs for ears, I ask. The modest pool of water shaped like an igloo doesn't answer me. They look to the sky, smiling lovingly at a cluster of clouds heading south. What has clogged up all the oceans, they ask. The pool of water is no longer shaped like an igloo, but a rock one might endeavor to crawl under and die. The cold ground. The lifeless body looks down at their scattered brains, commingling with the dirt and the insects. They talk about the weather, life, and the Big Bang Theory. The whole begins to let in rain, an inquisitive fly at moths hovering above its shoulders. An umbrella befriends its lifeless body, a friend until placed deep into the cold, hungry ground where they hope the maggots and the worms will be as friendly as the umbrella. The rain has finally stopped. A metal speculum. The anus is now a metal speculum. It blames the narcoleptic desk sitting by the window, such intrusive acts of forgetful sleeping. The metal speculum rarely sleeps, shining as it does day and night. They are warm beneath sodden bedclothes, a time of waste when the body becomes dark and sticky with goo. A river of thick red liquid surrounds their island. Sometimes they feel the rush of fate. After the explosion. After the explosion, our lips came together, kissed, then danced. We held each other in the dark as light raced around our bodies like petulant ladybirds, silent and sniffing with curious scent. After the explosion, animals made rafts with fur, wings and skin. Humans were not invited to the party. Its carcass hid like children in the trees, cloves faded like paper, falling like exotic plants, leaping from the minds of reptiles, stones and sticks, swollen like aging memories of flesh. After the explosion, our anxieties slowly faded to dust. The Marquis de Sade was feeling quite hard, a thing he liked to put in, a sensation tight, such feelings delight, as he thrust and winked at sin. He pushed and he shoved the muck and disgust, a river of bodies and piss. A gleeful retort with a pinch of hot salt and a dig in the guts with a pin. He slipped and he popped, getting tight on fine pot as he sucked the lips of a dame. Come rain or come shine, but never refine the art of poking it in. Clutch all ye can the flesh of man inside a honey-filled box, with a groan and a bark and a bite and a fart and a river of pus without shame. some muck and cold sick, the lick of a prick, and a jolly long slog. A slash of the fist, some rum, and a hiss, and a piece of freshly white cum. Rub it up good and push it in tight, the night and the day as one. With a lustful glance, yet animals can't ask for a roll in the hay. A nip and a tuck, or a buggery slut, delicious and wet as clay. A pinch and a slop, a thrust and a chop, some grime to tickle both cheeks. A shove and a prod and something quite hot, and a fiddle and something sublime. A shovel of shit, a bucket of tits, a tear of blush red jam, a jerk of a skirt and a dirty old twerp, a finger and a rump of lamb. A jerk of a skirt and a dirty old twerp, yes, and a finger and a rump of lamb. A crumble of pus, but never a fuss that reeks of torrid man. A woman that blows the horny long stump, a jig and a hearty cry, make way for such sweat, but never forget the flesh before the eye. A drizzle of dust, a look of disgust, temptation and the cue of a sigh. The beat of a heart like a ravenous shark, eat guts like rotten pie. Bend and partake a prodding inside, as screams bark and fly. Intoxication with a sticky lubrication, blowing mines of flesh and bones. Bits of balls, dicks and teeth, all poured inside a hole. Mucky burrows crudely spiked, arse and bugger all. Slice with glass a sharp delight, all splurged with thick white cream. Set of 8 weeks, I've said that one. Weeks. Time soon passes. It does. It does also. Anyway, where was it? 11 weeks. 11 weeks is full of many things, but not so the seashell. Its warm felt carpets drag slowly into cold, saltless seas, to wondrous pouting red lips, full of dry, timid breath, begin to sing. Tonight we came close to the moon. 12 weeks. 12 weeks descended, a dying metal staircase, a display of naked contradictions that rise magnificently like weeping, joyous trees. You saved the life, you saved my life, they yelled. Yellow with embarrassment caught between a rock and a soft center, a controversial variation no longer recognized rich charm, yet its hands continue to smolder like flames. The ultimate creation of beauty and spontaneity is now an abstract vision, lost beyond all possible logic. 13 weeks. 13 weeks was a period of dream-like states, an irrational shape of giraffe heads, missing and copulating with white, cloudless skies. Its fantasy of hallucinatory undergarments, popular or brightly colored, visions burn and argue like high-tar cigarettes. After its demise, an organ grinder is made to weep slowly into a shallow silver bucket. 14 weeks. 14 weeks is the long white nape of a white black swan. Its hungry wings glide majestically into warm flowing sand, drums from the cemetery wall long into the charming dark night. 15 weeks. 15 weeks is a stream of consciousness falling from the pocket of a certain Mr. Ben Jamin Petre. Their dietary polka is a red inflamed hand festering mashed, a loony cosmos of tenuous straps, madly incensed with fragments and blood-stained bones.
What did you think of Oblivian Substanshall?
It was wicked.
What did you think?
No, sorry, that's what I thought.
Oh, right, oh.
There we go. Thank you, sir. Hello, darling.
How did it go, alright?
Really bad.
Yeah, it was shite. I hated it. Yeah, I really hated every minute of it. Yeah, it was really bad. Yeah. Oh. What would you like to say about it?
I haven't got a website. I'll give you a...
What did you think of Oblivian Substanshall? Did you like him? Did you like him?
Yeah.
Did you like it? Did you think?
I see you witness, I think.
Sorry?
I thought it was shit.
I saw me in a pub.
I thought it was awful.
Yeah.
She liked it. It's crap.
This is a copy I've got. I've got another copy. This is the only copy I've got, but you can have it. I just ordered another one. Yeah. I'll give you my name.
Shit, wasn't it?
So fucking
Pile of shit. Massive pile of shit.
couldn't hear it.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was the worst part. Yeah.
And the bits that I could hear were fucking
Rubbish.
shit.
Yeah.
The music, really just spoiled it. Spoiled the music.
Yeah. With his babbling nonsense, yeah. He's a cunt, that's why. He's a fucking cunt.
That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, well, that's it, yeah. Nah, well, no worries, he'll be dead soon, probably. Yeah. No, pile of shite.
Did it seem okay?
I still not filmed the whole thing. I just wish I hadn't, because
Rubbish.
yeah, it was crap.
Rubbish. I like it. Last time you can't. What are you playing at? You've got no imagination, son.
She was fucking right, Rich. She was fucking black one.
Fucking raven. What are you on? You want something? You can.
I mean, it's nothing to do with the fact that I have to fucking sleep on the floor with no covers or no bed.
Covered in drafts.
Never mind about that. It's that fucking raven you keep bringing back. You and that.
Talking in your sleep tonight.
Yeah. I'll be reciting Edgar Allan Poe. The Raven. Fucking hell.